Hello, welcome back to Ray Coffee. What are we doing today? Today, we're not making coffee. I mean, we are, but I already made it. We're gonna dive in and we're gonna make a coffee dessert. So, of course, I have to do something traditional for me, and I'm gonna make a flan. Pero, I'm gonna make flan de café, which is a custard, usually with caramel, and it's usually made of cream cheese. So it's usually known as flan de queso or flan de caramelo, which is the one I am doing today, but I'm just adding coffee to it. So I'm gonna take you through it, and it's real simple. It cooks for a while, but it's amazing. It's delicious. It has the smell of like a caramel macchiato. It's almost like making a caramel latte, but getting to eat it, and the consistency of like an amazing dessert. So I'm gonna dive in. So as you see here, we have a lot of ingredients and a lot of materials, but don't get scared. So we need a measuring cup, half a cup, a knife, condensed milk, evaporated milk, 3 eggs, vanilla extract, almond extract, a kettle. You'll see where that comes along. Half a cup of sugar, cold brew concentrate. You need the concentrate. Colander to strain, a medium saucepan, a blender. You can use a hand mixer if you like, and 8 ounces of cream cheese. Now, we're gonna start off with the sugar. Well, more specifically, the caramel. The caramel is our first layer of this dish, and it's kind of very simple, but it's kind of hard at the same time. So you're gonna throw in your sugar, and you're gonna add in just enough water to make it creamy. You don't want to create syrup. You want to create a hard rock candy almost, but you're gonna get the softball texture of caramel. I know it's kind of complicated, but you'll know it when you see it. I know I hate when people say that, but you'll know it when you see it. So you're gonna stir, and you just want to dissolve the sugar in the water. I'm gonna repeat it again. You just want to dissolve the sugar in the water. Then you're gonna let it sit. If you continue to try and stir, you're going to end up causing crystallization. You're gonna end up making rock candy. That's not what you want. You want a softball level of caramel. Now you're gonna let that sit, and you're gonna prepare everything else, but keep a close eye on it, because if you don't, you're gonna end up burning it. Now we're gonna move over to making it. You're gonna grab your 3 eggs, and you're gonna start cracking them into either your bowl or your blender. You only need 1 whole egg. For the other 2 eggs, we're gonna separate the yolk and the white, and we're just gonna use the yolk. By using the yolk, that's how we're gonna get super custardy, super creamy. If we were to use the egg white too, we would sort of get more of a batter than a custard. As you can see, separating egg yolks and egg whites isn't easy. I kind of realized what I was doing last minute, and so you see me struggling. But one of my suggestions for separating egg whites and egg yolks is to crack them into 2 separate bowls and sort of just grab the yolk out of the bowl, and it's way easier. If you don't like touching slimy eggs, I don't have any other suggestions. Now we're gonna check on our caramel. As you see, it's super bubbly. It's super brown on the edges. This is good, don't worry. You actually can't see on the video how brown it's getting, but it's an amberish color. You're not there yet. Don't get scared, let it go further. Now we're gonna add half of the can of the evaporated milk, and we're gonna add the whole can of condensed milk. I'll have the measurements at the end, don't worry. But you don't wanna add the whole can of evaporated milk as you traditionally would, because the rest of the liquid is going to come from the coffee. And why did I choose to do cold brew? Because when you do other forms of brewing, you're gonna get that acidic flavor, one, and you're gonna get the literal acid, and that's gonna mess with the custard. The custard is very fragile, like anything else in French cooking. It's finicky, it doesn't like to do what normal cooking likes to do. Now we're gonna do the cream cheese. I left this out for almost 2.5 hours. I want it to be almost melty, beyond room temperature. I want it to be warm. If you don't, it's going to get clumpy. It's gonna separate when you start blending, when you start mixing. The smoother it is, the warmer it is, the easier it's gonna incorporate into a homogenized mixture. If you don't do this, you're gonna end up with a separated, curdy dessert, and no one wants that. You can see I'm just adding the coffee in here, right on top. And then I'm going to check on the caramel again, because I don't want to forget about it. And then I'm gonna add the almond extract. I believe this is a teaspoon. Almond extract is strong. And then I believe I'm gonna add 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, because there is no putting too much of vanilla extract, in my opinion. But to each their own. Now you're gonna blend this up and you're gonna let it do its thing. This is not dough, there's no gluten in this, so you can't overmix it. There is eggs, but there is only one egg white in there, so it can't get that fluffy. We are gonna strain it too, so don't worry about all these bubbles. Now we're gonna check on the caramel. As you can see now on the camera, you can start seeing the browning. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start pulling the browning into the mixture that's not browning yet. Now I'm not stirring. Those are two different things. Pulling the browning, make sure that the browning, which is at a higher temperature than the white part, is gonna make sure that it gets to all to the same temperature at the same time. And it's just a pulling motion. You're not doing too much. You're gonna make sure it's all getting to the same color at the same time. And then you can see that it's starting to heat up pretty quickly after that. And this is past the amber color. I'm just watching that. I'm moving it around a little bit, and you can see I'm getting to the soft ball texture. It's harder to see when you don't have a non-stick pan, so I'm sorry about that if you don't. And then I'm just gonna throw it in the cold glass pot, and you're gonna see that it's gonna solidify pretty quickly and it's gonna set pretty quickly. And that's kind of what we want, because when we cook it in the pan, in the oven, it's going to heat up and it's gonna melt into the custard. That's one of my favorite parts. And then, very simply, you're going to start pouring your mixture through the strainer and straight into your bowl. Why are we pouring into the strainer? Well, you know that little part of the egg yolk that we saw before in the blender? I didn't want to mention it before, but it's this icky yolk, part of the yolk that connects to the egg white. That sometimes doesn't blend up, even in the super-powered Ninja blender. So we want to get all those things out. And we also, just in case I have any cream cheese curds, we want to get those out, and we want to have a nice, smooth texture. And we're just going to put it in to our bowl. Now, I didn't grab it, but I am warming up a full kettle of water, and I'm going to just pour it around. Why do I do this? Because when you preheat the water that you're gonna put, it's called baño de Maria in Spanish, or they call it in French Mary bath or Virgin Mary bath, something like that. It basically just helps the custard cook all the way through consistently, and it also prevents the top from burning too much by having steam and moisture in the oven. You want to have enough that the water is not going to evaporate before it's done cooking. Remember, we are cooking this for an hour at 375, and that's past boiling, so a lot of it is going to evaporate. So you're just gonna put all the water around, make sure it's at least halfway. You don't wanna go any higher than that. Now we're gonna put it in the oven and we're gonna say goodnight to it for an hour. And we're gonna hope it doesn't burn. We're gonna hope it doesn't overcook. And we're gonna hope it doesn't undercook. But we're not gonna open that oven for that hour. We can open it after, but do not open that oven until that hour is up. Okay? I don't know how much I need to stress that. Do not open that oven. You're gonna ruin your flan. I'll check back in after it gets out of the oven and we'll see how pretty and beautiful it looks. Welcome back, and here we are. We have our coffee custard deliciousness. I am a little impatient, so it's not as firm in the front. But as you can see here in the back, it is pretty firm and delicious. And it does, like I thought, taste just like a caramel macchiato. And I highly recommend you make this at home. Thank you for watching. Stay caffeinated, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more things like this.